slapping me to the middle of the square circle on a story. They thought of the process, brother. I'm GB, got Matt and Jake, and today we have a lot to talk about here, but do not forget that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave a comment if you enjoy the show. If you watch it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, go ahead, share the word, let people know what's going on. But Jake, we got a lot going on today. I didn't send you the script for this one this time, funny enough. Didn't actually write a script for this. So I don't know what we're talking about. I'm going to tell you
what we're doing.
Hey, Jake, what do you think about Solo SIKOA?
What am I supposed to think about him?
I don't know.
Tell me what to think about him.
I don't know. That was just supposed to be the intro. We're going to talk about Solo SIKOA. We're going to talk about Kevin Owens, and we're going to preview Saturday night's main event. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and not waste any time whatsoever. Solo SIKOA returned to Friday Night SmackDown, fellas, and we were thinking
summarily left Friday Night SmackDown, fellas,
and then left and then was gone. Thus leaving Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga in the ring by themselves. To which then Jacob Fatu just grabs the mic and cuts a great promo and basically just says, "You thought I was crazy?" That's basically what he says. I mean, he's a little crazy. He's just a little crazy. Jake, what do you think of now Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga going off on their own? And a better question, do you think this is the right call to make right now?
Kind of do.
Okay.
I kind of like, I think I even actually mentioned this, that, what are they going to do when Solo bends the knee to Roman?
Yeah.
And I think I think that's what we're about to see. I mean, is there a chance that Solo's kind of been holding them back a little, so to speak, not as far as like, their potential, but meaning like, could they get really dangerous here now that, they don't have a leader? They're their own men now. I think that can cause a lot of problems in WWE. So I'm interested to see where this one goes.
Yeah,
I'm very interested.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I'm very curious and good on commentary for pointing it out, but like Solo hasn't really been a factor or been really heard from, obviously, since the big loss to Roman Reigns and Tribal Combat Raw Netflix debut. So yeah, we weren't sure what to expect from this promo. So my question is, obviously, yes, we're pushing up Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Obviously, Tonga Loa is out with injury, so I imagine he will be coming back.
Poor guy. Dude, his team falls apart. His toe broke, and his team fell apart. Oh, oof. Hate to see it.
But these two, I think, are probably the strongest in ring out of that whole group. So, like, I'll be curious to see them together, whether they do go tag team titles or they're just kind of doing separate things, but together. My big question is, what's next for Solo? I mean, how long does he go away for? Do we get the bending the knee to Roman? Are they acknowledging him kind of thing? Do we dare say, like, a babyface Solo SIKOA still feels too early for that? Feels very weird. But I am intrigued on where he ends up. I don't see him going away like on hiatus. Maybe a couple weeks, but like he's not gone until post-Mania kind of thing. I don't see that.
Does he go to Raw? Do you think he goes to Raw and then and Jacob and Thomas stay on SmackDown?
Maybe. When's the quote-unquote trade window supposed to close?
Who knows?
The imaginary trade window that they mentioned like twice.
It did pay off though. Bayley's now on Monday Night Raw. That was the new thing, that she came out. Kind of sucks. It was like Bayley's on Monday Night Raw, and then she fights literally the person that she saw last week on SmackDown, and it was the same thing. But yeah, I will say as well, like, I'm excited to see what Jacob Fatu can do. I think this has the makings for a great tag team run. But it's weird because these guys have been hovering around the main event for such a long time now that it'll be odd to see them go down and tussle with like Motor City Machine Guns and,
It's always tough. That is one of the cyclical things with wrestling that is always tough because at some point, a big champion has to drop that title and you can't immediately put them back into it. Main event guys have to there's always sometimes an awkward, unless the writing is really good, which is where the pressure is.
Yeah.
Of like, somebody comes off a big run. Okay. Now they're coming out a week or two later, and it's like they were the world champion. Now they're like in an intercontinental title feud, which is great. But like, it is an awkward thing. There's a little bit of a system shock there. But if the writing's good enough, you kind of forget that after like the initial, like, oh, he was on the main event and now he's kind of doing this match.
Yeah.
But if it's good, if it's booked well, you forget about that like the moment after.
Yeah.
If it's a good promo, if there's a good match on the horizon, if there's good interactions, that can be easily glossed over.
But one thing that I do take away from this, Jake, is that the Bloodline story is over. That's what it gave me. Like, this is it. It's over. It's done. We haven't heard Bloodline as a team be mentioned on TV in quite some time.
Right. But there's still so many, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of loose ends for it to be just over. I mean, I remember there was one SmackDown where we heard Solo tell, I don't know if it was Jacob or who it was, when they were up in the stands, they're like, oh, no, this is all part of the plan. This is all
that was Bad Blood, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
After The Rock came out after the big tag match with Cody and Roman.
Yeah.
And now
that's the other, the Rock and the Bloodline thing is everyone's still, I'm kind of a GB. I'm of the ilk that I think they're going to try to gloss and just quietly just move away from all of it. I do.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
But if they want to pick up those ends, to your point, Jake, they are technically there.
It's safe to say the Bloodline story is under. Definitely 6 feet under at this point.
Or over?
No, it's over, but it's now under. It's basically dead.
Over and under.
And that is the really frustrating thing about it, because I really feel like if they had gone with The Rock being like the secret tribal chief council member or council leader, that would have been freaking dope. And you
wouldn't have even had to wrestle again.
He wouldn't have had to wrestle. He could have just been a shadowy figure. But it's clear that this is not the direction that they want to go in WWE. And they've had enough Bloodline for a while now, so it's okay to kind of shift focus, move away from that. Of course, we don't know entirely what's going to happen, because that is yet to be written. But I think it is safe to say that the Bloodline arc as it stands is pretty much dead in the water until maybe they bring it back for like a last hoorah run. Maybe it'll be a Roman his Shield versus Bloodline brethren at WrestleMania 53 or some shit like that. We'll see what happens. What are you gonna say, Matt? Sorry.
Do we really kick it back with this new team? Or speaking of the topic, Tama and Jacob starting to run wild. It feels like it'd be really treading bad ground, but like an easy booking. Roman and Solo versus Tama and Jacob.
Yeah.
Big Bloodline tag match. You know what I mean? Like that feels over treading.
Yeah.
But it's one of those. There's a universe where that gets booked.
If that happens, we have to make a short where you come back and say exactly this. We gotta, because now that you said it, man. Yeah,
I know.
Because I don't know where. I mean, I don't think Roman's winning the Royal Rumble, so I don't know what happens there. But anyway, yeah, that's really, really fascinating. And if anything, that just means that there's still really unique directions for these characters to go in. But as it stands right now, we can safely put a pin on the new Bloodline, and really just sucks because poor Bronson Reed's just going to come back to no unemployment. He's going to come back to nothing. He's going to be, hey guys, where's the clubhouse? And the clubhouse is burned down to the ground.
He's just going to do what he always does. He's just going to go out and tsunami someone to literal death.
Actually,
and then,
he was part of the Bloodline for all of 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah, at least like 2 Scaramucci's. So he definitely that. You know what though? Bronson Reed comes back, tsunamis the hell out of Solo SIKOA. That could be pretty fun. That could be a fun one, because it's like, you're the reason why I said I trusted you, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, that could be spicy. I like that one.
Or they team up to take down Tama and Fatu.
That too, because it's like you guys just bailed on the system. Oh, that would be really dope. Anyway, though, we'll be keeping eyes on what's going on with Tama Tonga, as well as Jacob Fatu and Solo SIKOA as this whole thing continues to build out, and we'll see what their plans are for Mania season. But one individual whose plans for Mania season have been very, very fun to see, it's Kevin Owens. I like to say that he is the narrative gift that keeps on giving to this podcast, because he is just so damn good. Everything he does, it's just good. He came out and interrupted Rey Mysterio in, I believe they were in San Diego, interrupts Rey Mysterio in his hometown, says how he wants to fight him and respects him. But then the moment that Rey Mysterio says, "But man, you're not the champion, man," then immediately he loses his shit, and it gets gets violent. They fight, and it's kind of a similar vein of like what's happening with him. You mentioned that he lost to Cody, and he loses his shit. Jake, this has been a fun story, and on top of that, he has the Winged Eagle Championship still within his possession.
That's true. And then you also look at like what happened last night on Raw. Well, I say last night, it's Friday now.
Yeah.
As you're listening to this, but on Raw on Monday, he had his moment with Sammy, where he's basically doing to Sammy what he was upset at Roman for doing to Sammy.
Yeah.
He's manipulating him into getting his way and doing it as this like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if we had this moment together? We go into, and yes, it would be, by the way, but it would be incredible.
It would be amazing
if we had them for the title at WrestleMania. But and this like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'm sure you'll do this for me just like you did it for Roman. I mean, that's some beautifully manipulative shit, man.
Yeah.
And it's Kevin Owens is so good. He's so good. But the thing is, at the same time, and still, this is what's great about it. He's still right.
Yeah, he is.
He's still right. I mean,
except about the title thing.
Well, except about the title thing, sure.
That's a big one.
The fact that he's like, hey, you did this for them. Why don't you do it for me?
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. I'll help you out. And so it's going to be very interesting to see the order of these matches on, because if the Rumble's the first match, well, my pick is fucked. But but it'll be interesting to see if Owens does get involved, because here's what I could see happening to benefit myself and my pick for the past 9 months or however long it's been that we've been doing the Rumble picks. I think it'd be really interesting if we have the match between Cody and KO first.
Yeah.
Kevin loses. And then Sammy comes out for his moment in the Rumble, but he doesn't make it to the ring because Kevin Owens shows up and beats the shit out of him for not helping him get the title, and he takes Sammy's spot in the Rumble.
Yeah.
That is a way to kind of keep Sammy away from the Rumble, because there's going to be so many big names in there, and Sammy is just going to get lost in the shuffle. So you do keep him away, and you put the focus on Kevin Owens, where the story focuses on Kevin Owens, but the big names are still going to attract a lot of the attention because they're still big names, right? John Cena, Roman Reigns, Goldberg. So I have a theory.
A rumored Mick Foley.
A rumored Mick Foley, which actually would be really base if that happens. Would be good
because he's lost 100 pounds. Good for him. Yeah. Feeling better.
Yeah. Looks good.
I love Mick Foley. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And a good human.
Yes. Most importantly.
So yeah, that actually does. But see, there's one thing that I think is going to throw a wrench into that. And that's that Kevin Owens is going to become the WWE champion post Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Old clean.
Yeah. So I have this like thing that like they love, WWE loves to just like tell you what they're gonna do, and maybe they'll like, you know, throw you for the swerve, and they will for sure, and they probably will for this. But the reason why I say this is because when you think about it, Kevin Owens has been going around telling people, when I win, you will face me at WrestleMania, right? And he's like so confident in this, right? He lost in the last one. He had Cody beat, right? So
like a 6-way match for the title.
The reason I think maybe, but I really do believe that like he's gonna win, and then people are gonna start coming around being like, hey, you said this, you said that, and or you end up with a situation where he does win, and then you put the Elimination Chamber situation up where Cody fights to then get his spot back, because you can't have Cody win the Rumble 3 times. That'd be ridiculous.
In a row.
You can't have that. I don't think that would not make much sense. So that's why I think like there is a possibility Kevin Owens can win. He's big enough right now where like he can carry the belt to WrestleMania, and I think enough people would give a shit and care in like as far as fans are concerned. And I think that with the way that this story has been going, Cody going into Mania, his first Mania, not as champion, but as the challenger again, is but
third Mania actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Not as champion.
But you know, they'll go back to their guys like over and over and over again, and they did that with Roman for years, right? They did it with Brock for years, and Cody's still one of the most over guys in the company. So it just like really makes a lot of sense to have him chase the title going into Mania to get his like comeuppance against Kevin Owens. Where you go from there, I don't freaking know, but I really do think that you could put the belt on Kevin Owens in Royal Rumble, and it would not tarnish or ruin WrestleMania. If anything, it'll make it even better if you do that, because I think if Cody holds the belt, then what do you do if he just beats KO clean? You've spent months building this story, right? And now you have the Royal Rumble winner that can, you know, be the wedge. But man, that just feels like such a wasted thing with all the work that they've done with this particular story over the course of these last few months. Just feels like it would be a complete waste of time. I don't know. You guys think I'm crazy?
I think Kevin Owens is
but
crazy.
Not related to this.
Yeah, the only one I think is crazy is Kevin Owens.
That's true. Yeah, but he's right though. He is. No,
but what I love, that's my just big thing with this is you talk about being the narrative gift again, focusing on stories. This has been probably one of, if not the most consistent character story since summer, pretty much since like September. Kevin. Enemy coming out of it justified, angry at Cody and Randy. Yep, right. Getting rid of his friends. He has a justification, but in classic heel, takes it too far, gets physical. He's attacking his former friend. But now it's gone so far that he's off the deep end and is megalomaniac, convinced he is, because he picked up a belt, is a world champion, and that people should be vying for the opportunity to face him at WrestleMania. Like, he's gone full just insane.
Yeah.
And so like he's a full, as much as he was right in his initial, he's a real bad.
But you have to really think about why he's right though, right? Because he doesn't use like anything on Cody. He beats him. The ref was down. And then like when the ref doesn't wake up, he gets pissed. He goes out, he grabs the chair, then the chair falls, but then Cody cheats and uses the chair. And it's like, how else can Kevin Owens be like, you see that this dude's a snake, right? Like you see this, and it would make anyone go crazy, because when he hits Kevin Owens with a fucking chair, the crowd cheers, and it's so good. It's just the son of a systems tech engineer manager person. What a guy.
Great
what a
shirt.
Guy. Excellent 10 out of 10 shirt for sure.
Yes,
man, this is going to be good. I just really, I don't want to see them just let this go post main event. Post Royal Rumble. I just think that this is so good, and they're both putting on excellent matches.
I don't think it will, because there is one other element to this that is loose end that we still haven't tied up, and it was just in that photo we looked at. Randy Orton was taken out by Kevin Owens. Yeah. We've heard no timetable for his return. Rumble's coming up. I mean,
dude, how crazy would it be if you end up with that triple threat? That is a marquee triple threat. That is a WrestleMania night 1, night 2, but definitely night 1 ending main event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
3 of the best. Who've had this tension. We one of us said that, I think, back when this was all starting to break down between the 3 of them.
Yeah.
I remember saying, I don't know if we could get to Mania, but that triple threat for the world title is happening somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And with Randy being out, I think we could get to Mania with that.
We can.
Get past this Rumble and then reintroduce Randy. And I think you could have a good 2 months of stuff building up to it.
Yeah.
I think that could be.
And the reason why I like the idea of KO winning at the Rumble is that it gives you something different with the story, right? Because now he's the champion, and now the conversations change and the perception changes and everything changes, right? So, it's the guy who is considered like the golden child of WWE, the poster boy, the next John Cena, blah, blah, blah. And he drops the belt right before you get to the road to WrestleMania, to the guy that no one wanted to put into that position to begin with, and who's absolutely insane. Oh man, dude. And then in comes Randy Orton with, he could be the reason why Cody loses. He could be the reason why Kevin wins. Like there's so many interesting aspects that this story can go. And it's because Kevin Owens is truly fucking awesome. That is the underlying focus of that. That's really how I want it ended. Kevin Owens is fucking awesome. Here's the thing, fellas. Did you know that on this Saturday we're gonna have another Saturday night's main event? Because I tell you what, I did not know that. I was that happened out of nowhere. I mean, they were talking about Saturday night's main event last week, but I didn't pay attention to the date at all. Otherwise, or time is elusive. I'm not too sure. Either or. But yeah, Saturday night's main event is happening. We have 4 matches confirmed on the card right now. And one of those,
should call it Shotgun Saturday Night because of the way they put these matches together was a real shotgun. I mean, it is, again, outside of the Kevin Cody face-off or contract signing gimmick.
Yeah.
These are all pretty whooped together matches.
Yeah, well, let's go through that real fast. So your first one, it's going to be this signing where the young talent Shawn Michaels will be overseeing the proceedings here. No, but
to be fair, I was thinking about it too. He's an OG Saturday Night's main event competitor from the 90s, obviously, but also a guy, big ladder matches, right? He's one of the big innovators and popularizers. It's a ladder match, right? It's a okay. Oh, first one in 10 years, if I remember correctly, for the WWE title.
Wow,
for a world title.
Wait a minute, dude! 100% Kevin Owens is winning, man. It's a ladder match. It's a ladder match.
Wait, what? Is Kevin the king of ladder matches? No. I know he's done many of them, but
because Cody's not going to get pinned. And that's your story.
It does give you more outs just because craziness can happen.
It gives you way more outs. Randy can easily get involved.
I mean, look, here's the other thing that could happen too. If both belts are hanging up there.
Yeah.
Why would they hang his prop belt up?
They've been showing both belts in the graphic. Both belts have been in the graphic.
He's just been holding one.
No. But if in the graphic for the match, it shows in the background the WWE title and the Winged Eagle title half and half.
So if both are hung up there and they both fall down with one.
Yeah.
Then they are the WWE Tag Team Champions. We are the
WWE champions.
We are the champions. Oh, that is going to be so funny. So this is going to be a signing. We expect some violence. We expect some stuff to go down. These things never go the way that the management wants them to go. Come on, guys. Get your heads out of your asses. Your meetings. So, you should know this.
Kevin's going to stun Shawn Michaels, I assume.
Maybe errant super kick.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. That's going to be interesting. All right. Now this one just happened, just was formed. It came as a result of what we saw on SmackDown, but I was looking up the results. I was looking up what the card was, and I didn't even know that this was on the card. Okay, it is Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman came out to confront Jacob Fatu on over. Look, it's going to be big meaty men slapping meat. It's going to be amazing. I'm all about it. But my God, talk about a random ass match to put together. But holy crap. Jacob Fatu should win this, though. I think this is a great one for Jacob Fatu to win. It just sucks that they're using Braun Strowman as like the big guy jobber right now. But, you know, such is the way, right? It's kind of like he's a little bit in the Lance Archer role. You know, where like Lance Archer is just a big guy who goes out there, does big spots.
And later stage Kane too. Like,
later stage Kane.
Big guy, always a threat, right? He's always a monster, but like hasn't won anything prominent recently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this is also going to be a great showcase for Jacob Fatu. Expect some crazy physical strength in this matchup, some acts of strength that he's going to lift Braun Strowman on his back. God knows what's going to happen. It's going to be nutty. It's going to be awesome. Do you guys have any predictions for what happens afterwards? Do you think this is just a straight up matchup?
I think with this, we get back to LA Knight here. I think they got to wrap that story up at some point. So I think because they've just been attacking him, we got to get to a match somewhere with one of Tama or him. So I think whether it's Tama and him, they're jumping Braun now because Braun made the save before. Now Knight makes the save this time.
And we saw SmackDown, so that could very well happen this week on SmackDown.
That could also happen this week on SmackDown.
Tonight, yes,
that's right. Something like that.
Okay.
I think we're getting to whether it's probably Jacob and LA Knight at some point. That could be a TV match. I don't think it has to be like a pay-per-view, but something
it could be a good pay-per-view match, though. That could be a good pay-per-view match, especially for the Rumble. That wouldn't be a bad one. Jake, you said over. I
think it's going to be a shit show in the best way possible. It's, this is going to be a demolition derby. This is like watching two monster trucks just fight each other. It's going to be great.
It's like the giant monster truck versus the Hulk Hogan monster truck. Remember that from back in the day? With the arms, dude. The Goldberg one, too. Oh, dude, those are great. Yeah, so certainly is going to be fascinating how that one plays out because, as you had mentioned, Matt, there has to be something with LA Knight in the connection there. So we'll see where that goes, but we should be expecting Jacob Fatu to get the win. Our next matchup is our Intercontinental Championship matchup and the only match that I think we will see a title change on the card. It's Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the IC Championship. Sheamus cut a promo saying this is the only belt he hasn't won. And then Braun Breaker's like, you're going to have to take it off my cold, dead hands. And that's basically how it all plays out. This matchup is just, I think it's going to happen because I think they want to give Sheamus the IC title. And Braun Breaker can lose it and then go to SmackDown or something like that. Sure. I don't know. That's what I think. What do you guys think?
I don't know if I fully agree with you, but I could see it now more than ever. Didn't this match happen before in recent, right? A couple months ago,
triple threat,
when Sheamus came back.
Oh, yeah. They have the triple threat for the title, but then they also, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, and they have been making a deal about that not being that title. And to be fair, it does feel like Braun has sidelined is not fair, but has been a little bit pulled back from the spotlight on TV a little bit.
Yeah.
So like good time, could be a good time to like, all right, pull them back a little bit, put it on Sheamus, give it some new life. And then, Braun could even win it back, or he could go after some other division or whatever if he wants.
Yeah,
he's a young ruffian. He's got plenty of time and upside. But I feel like this could be. It would make Saturday night's main event feel special.
Yeah,
kind of remind you, especially if they are going to do several more this year, that it's not just, even though they might be scheduling them like rushed and kind of one off and random as hell. That could add to the mystique of like, oh, anything can happen. It could be like pay-per-view level. So like, make sure you tune in. Yeah. So this could be a good little kind of fire up the Flair moment for him.
Yeah, Jake, this is going to be a show for me that's going to determine whether or not well, maybe not entirely, but whether or not they care a lot about Saturday night's main event, or if it's just going to end up becoming like what main event literally is right now for them, which is just like a forgetful show where like it's more of an obligation for them on NBC network rather than them actually trying to invest anything significant into it. I hope that's not the case. Because I feel like, to Matt's point, you need this thing to matter. And if it doesn't happen here, then it needs to happen in the world championship matchup, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's a harder one to predict.
Right. That's something that we talked about with the previous Saturday night main event. Was I had felt like if you really wanted to get more attention and more buzz, that you should have somebody drop a title. Because titles changing hands are always, well, almost always exciting.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt that way more so. I thought it would happen on the last show. I don't remember what match it was that I thought that might happen, but I could see this one. I mean, they have kind of hot potatoed the IC title a little bit, which I don't hate when you do it from time to time, and people are deserving. There's good story with it and that sort of thing. You know, I like that kind of being a crowded picture.
Yeah.
You know, as much as we talk about it being a workhorse title and all that. So I could see that. Originally I didn't, but you bring up a good point of, if you're going to pull the trigger, now's the time to do it. Cause you're talking about, this is basically the on-ramp to the road to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, Royal Rumble really begins it. So if you want to start building some buzz, then man, do it on Saturday night's main event when you got, you know, millions watching at home on network television. This is as good a time as any. Because at first I thought this is a terrible time to have this when you're 1 week away from the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But if you can get more eyes on the product to potentially pull them to watch Royal Rumble, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think you do need some buzz. That said, I don't know if the world title is that unattainable.
Okay, wait, before we
However,
let's predict this one first, but I like where your head's at.
But I'm saying, originally I was going to say Braun Breaker, but now you got me convinced that it's going to be Sheamus. So I'm going to go with Sheamus.
Okay, Matt, do you think Sheamus too, or no? You said Braun.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Okay,
I'll go with Sheamus.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Because that of course is taking us to our main event, which is going to be Gunther going up against Jey Uso. Main event in the main event, and I feel like this one is too poetic to happen the way that we want it to happen, and I don't think it's going to be the happy ending of Jey Uso holding the title as everyone's yeeting all over the place to close out main event on network television. I think it's going to end with Gunther silencing the crowd. But man, I want to see Jey win so bad.
I know we've all just wanted Jey to win things for the past year, whether it was Money in the Bank, the IC title that he held for all of a week and a half. He's had all these teases, all these things, his world championship match and everything like that. I don't know when the time is. He's stayed consistent. His crowd's still with him, but this moment for this title, IC title, it just doesn't have the same gravitas. I don't think this is the moment for that.
You don't think that this is the moment for them to pull the trigger on Jey?
No.
Do you think that if they pull the trigger on Jey, they do it for the WWE title, or is this belt?
Yeah, I would say this belt would probably be over first.
Okay.
I hate feeling like that because it does feel like it's slightly 9.9 to 10 of the Cody's WWE World Championship or whatever. So
Joe Tessitore called it the Universal Championship on SmackDown the other day. I was like, wait, did this happen?
No.
Yeah. Jake, what do you think?
I agree. Like, Jay's time is coming. It feels like we've been saying that for years now. It does feel like we're danger close to them pulling the trigger on him finally. But I don't see it. I don't see it being this either. I mean, if I based on how it's going, I thought the best chance to dethrone Gunther was Damian Priest in his last one. I mean, because that was now Gunther seems back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gunther seems like himself again. And I just don't. I think Jay's just going to be like,
but
right
the
there,
story is so good, though. He like the guy who no one takes seriously beats the guy who demands everyone takes him seriously. Like
sure, yeah.
And also like he calls himself main event Jey Uso. He's in Saturday night's main event. Literally, it's like his namesake. It's just like there's so much that you could do with this, but then I think that I'm okay with the result no matter what happens. Just to be clear. I'm fine because it's going to be good, right? If Jey Uso wins, you get a Jey Uso championship run going into WrestleMania. I mean, that should be a freaking incredible story. Mm-hmm. Or you end up with a dejected Jey Uso going into the Royal Rumble. Or you end up with a confident Gunther who might be a little too overconfident as he awaits his next opponent. Like, you can have a lot of fun with this. Even though they just did the overconfident, underconfident Gunther story, you know, there's still a few directions that this can go in. I don't know who wins, but I think it's Gunther.
Yeah.
I think it's Gunther. I think so. Because then you know, you get a little bit more, right? Because Gunther kind of needs someone to bounce off of right now. Damian Priest was a good target for him, but that can only last for so long.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Exactly. You know, he needs a good dance partner. Jey Uso might be that guy. We'll see, though. We'll see. Saturday night's main event this Saturday. It should be a wild show. Card not finished yet, we assume, because
presumably
there's going to be an episode of SmackDown tonight when you guys are watching this. So realistically, you know, 4 matches on the card seems a little light. I think 5 is what they're usually aiming for. And
no women's matches.
I think we're going to get a women's title match. If I had to make the assumption, it's going to be Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley.
And Rhea Ripley, yeah.
Oh, wait, They did. Sorry, they did announce that.
Oh, they did?
That was announced on Raw. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then
Rhea laid out the challenge to Nia.
Okay, so then there you have it. So it's Rhea, Nia, and Rhea's going to win. We don't need to dive too much into the weeds on that one. But yeah, curious to know what you guys think. Make sure you sound off in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear from you. It's ridiculous. I feel like they're just circling the drain on that for so long now. It's the same like 5 people just going against each other. But I know we're in Mania season, so things are about to get a little crazy. That's about all the things we have to talk about, and we have 1 week away from all of our favorite pay-per-view. It is Who's Winning the Royal Rumble? Each week we have been making predictions to see who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble based on the storylines, where things are going, blah, 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 blah. You already know how it goes if you've watched the show. So this week, the results are in. I like how it's getting pretty absurd. Here we go. And I'm going to make the graphic a little bit better just so that we can see it. But this is stupid. So there we go. It's all set up now. We got...
Stupid. These are serious journalistic
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on a second. I just noticed... We'll talk about that. We'll talk about this in a second. Me and Jake kept exactly the same predictions. I'm calling CM Punk to win it, and Jake is calling Kevin Owens to win it. one of us is going to be sorely disappointed. Actually, both of us, I think, now at this point is going to be sorely disappointed.
I've laid it all out for WWE on how to make it work.
You really
all
have.
They have to do is listen.
Yeah, you've been very.
All they have to do is listen.
Although it is funny though that like if CM Punk wins this Royal Rumble, like he won like what could be considered the most competitive Royal Rumble, right? Like maybe that's what they do for him. I don't know. If
Kevin Owens wins the title, I'm counting it.
Okay. Because he technically won.
He's bypassed the Rumble.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He has actually bypassed the Rumble, so that's very true. Okay, so we have CM Punk and Kevin Owens, and then Matt decided.
I'm still hurt. I think they needed a little bit of time.
So this is a makeup call.
The snub of all snubs.
Wilfred. I love it.
Oh no! Oh, lost that one. There it is. Oh,
shout out!
God.
They talked a little bit about it on Pod Meets World, the podcast with Danielle Fishel, Will Friedle, and what's it? Hunter? Is it Hunter Strong who played Shawn?
Mm.
They have a podcast, and they talked about it. And Will, I guess it happens a lot whenever he hangs out with Danielle. She always gets recognized, and of course he doesn't. As somebody who's been part of tandems and everything like that are more famous than you, I get it. So yeah, Will Friedle. Make that call. Have Danielle make the call and have your moment.
Do it, and you will get your lower third. You may not survive long in the Royal Rumble, but gosh darn it, you'll get that lower third on the walkout.
That's true.
You ambitious son of a gun. But the thing is, though, fellas, is I'm taking a look here and I'm seeing we all went for one name for the women. Was this intentional? I genuinely want to know, Jake, did you pick Jordynne Grace?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So a little behind the scenes, I asked these guys privately to send me their picks so we don't reveal it till the show for everybody. I was maybe influenced a little bit when I made my pick, but that was literally in my head this weekend at TNA Genesis. I was like, you know what? She's such a star. And she's already been there once before, and I think that's where she's headed.
Yes.
So I'm like, that would be she's not one of these like, oh, she's going to be a new superstar. Because again, I think that's where she's headed.
Yeah.
But she's so seasoned and she's already kind of been there a few times.
Yeah.
That I don't think you need to have like, oh, welcome to the show. Okay. They're in there for 5 minutes and you're gone and we can build her up from NXT. I think she is so good, so established and so believable. I think she could. That would be, and it would make headlines.
She doesn't. She doesn't need to go to NXT. That is absurd.
If that does happen, great women's division. She could do some great things. I think she'll quickly move up.
Just be a waste of her time. It'd be a waste of her time. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
She's too good. She's too established. We all already know her. Like they've already introduced her to the audience as it stands, and now they can introduce her as a WWE wrestler. Which means they can give her more presentation, more of an opportunity to shine. I think that I wasn't at first when we made this up. I always in the back of my head had this belief that there was a possibility that it could be Jordynne Grace, but I never like wanted to take it seriously until the matchup at Genesis and until like recently when it was like, oh no, she's gone, like she's leaving, where I'm like, no, then it makes the most sense. And on top of that, like you have this big signee. She's the longest reigning TNA Knockouts champion, right? No, or second?
No. She's somewhere close? In that shit. Nah, Tom.
One of the longest reigning TNA. One of the longest reigning TNA Knockouts champions, has defended the belt across promotions. Like she has so much credibility that her winning the Royal Rumble on her debut night will not be a batshit crazy idea.
Right.
Taya Valkyrie.
That sounds because I'm like, I know she doesn't have the most title reigns and she's not the longest, but she built a pretty damn long one. Not the most.
Not the most, but she and it felt like the most though. To be fair, because she was champion for a minute.
Taya Valkyrie, 377 days.
Yep.
Wow, I thought Jordynne Grace held it for more than a year.
No, she won it
she held it for 287 days, so near.
Yeah, from January to October.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's wild stuff. But yeah, and yeah, seriously, like what better way? for her to show up in the debut and win the Royal Rumble. And because I don't know who you give it to from the women right now.
Well, we got one more week, boys, and we filled out that sheet, but I'm going to have a special one. Everybody, your Who Wants to Be a Millionaire final answers will have its own dedicated graphic for next week. And,
oh my gosh.
So be double sure. I know you guys are going to be considered, but take this week.
This week is serious. This is serious.
Pray on it, meditate on it, and make some very serious, not funny choices.
I love you, Kevin Owens.
Wait a minute. Dude, I could see you just rolling up to an episode of SmackDown with me in LA when Jacob Fatu comes out just being, I love you. Jacob Fatu, I love you, Kevin Owens.
100%.
Sure, would be amazing. Damn. Okay, next week, this is it. The final Royal Rumble predictions. And here's the thing, I think that streak is important. I think how long you've predicted correctly, how many choices you've predicted correctly, I think that should go into the factor for what people view as a truly successful draw for the Royal Rumble. That's my personal belief.
You only got to be right once.
You only got to be right once.
Which is the week.
Well, actually, you got to be right twice.
Next week.
You gotta be right twice.
Yes,
but,
one for each Rumble.
One for each one. All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for us here today. Great show and a fun weekend of WWE that's going to be coming up ahead. Like we said before, we have SmackDown is going to be airing tonight. As you're listening to this, getting you ready for it. Then you also have Saturday night's main event, which will be happening tomorrow on Saturday, which is going to be a wild show. We'll see what takes place on that one. And then, of course, the Royal Rumble around the corner, and we'll have one final Royal Rumble prediction before then. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next week, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Peace out.